Perhaps this is too lofty a topic to bring up on this show, but I want to talk to you a little bit about partying. Now, I didn't start going to parties by myself, that is, parties that my parents weren't just dropping me off at, until near the tail end of the 90s. Prior to that, the largest social gatherings consisting mainly of people my own age I had attended had been heavily chaperoned functions like church dances and school events. Then in the summer before my senior year of high school, I ascended to the big leagues. It was a crash course, in that I usually crashed out early, and probably skirted the very real danger of being in a car crash numerous times. But what stayed with me most during my rapid catch-up in socialization was this cardinal rule. Parties need the right music. When you're a bunch of kids playing at being adults by downing brews and trying to hook up, you derive confidence from the pulsating strains of whatever's big at the time. In my case, that was mostly rap, with some R&B and pop stuff thrown in. Genie in the Bottle was the biggest song that summer, and maybe if you were among real cutting-edge scenesters, some of the harder dance genres like house or trance or drum and bass. The reason I bring all this up is because despite christening their full-length debut The Party album, I cannot recall having ever heard the Vengaboys at any party I'd ever independently gone to. Oh, I'd heard them. You weren't allowed to not hear their songs. But at parties, it was like entering an alternate, glorious reality where they did not even exist. In fact, I suspect that if one of their songs ever did come on at one of those parties, someone would have demanded that we turn it off and switch to something else instead. There was a very simple reason for this. The Vengaboys are party music only in a sense of being the soundtrack for like a little kid's birthday party. This was an uneasy period for international dance music, where the mainstream stuff was actively and unabashedly targeting the very youngest audiences. Arguably it started with Aqua, but then continued even into stuff like Eiffel 65, Crazy Frog, The Hamsterdam, Baha Men, and Serena Paris. If any actual grown-ups professed to be fans of this cotton candy-coated fluff, it was understood to be strictly on the level of being a guilty pleasure only. It was just too cheery and ridiculous and forcibly upbeat to enjoy any other way. Silly rabbit, dance pop is for kids. The Vengaboys formed in 1997 in Rotterdam, Netherlands, and the first thing you'll notice about them is that they are not all boys. They were, in fact, a project created by two Dutch producers named Wessel van Diepen, aka DJ Del Mundo, and Dennis van den Dreischen, aka DJ Dansky, who got their start in the early 90s traveling Ibiza and the coast of Spain in an old school bus and spinning at illegal beach parties. So just in case you were wondering, yes, there was an actual Vengabus. Later they added female singers Kim Sasabone and Denise Post van Rijswijk, as well as male singers Robin Poors and Roy Den Burger. I feel like I have to stop at this point to explain something. See, the Vengaboys' gimmick is that each member plays a specific character. The two males are a sailor and a cowboy, and the two females bear the honorific captain and party girl, respectively. So even though they've toured with a number of different lineups, their members always slot into these clearly defined roles. It's one of those things that risks being too confusing and nonsensical to really work, but you can also sort of see why they do it. They present themselves almost as these silly archetypes at a costume party, and it's kind of dumb and campy, but it's also kind of fun. Clearly they're enjoying themselves, and I'm not going to be too big of a buzzkill about it. Okay, so some of the group was male, and some of them may have even been quite young. But grown women clearly played a pivotal role in their image and sound from the very start. So then why call themselves boys? Was it specifically to confuse people? I wasn't able to find a satisfactory answer to this in my research. In fact, to this day, I still have no idea what in the hell a Vengaboy is supposed to be. One explanation I've read is that they picked up the Spanish phrase venga during their illegal beach party days, which allegedly translates as come on in Spanish. So according to this theory, their name is technically the Come On Boys? Now that sounds dirty. Personally, if I had to guess, I would say they chose this name because they got started right as the boy band craze was at its peak. In fact, I'd be lying if I said to you that I didn't think they were just another cookie-cutter boy band the first time I heard them. I think I just got so used to hearing these types of groups that everything seemed like a variation on that type until proven otherwise. BB Mac, the boy band with guitars. LFO, the mumble rap boy band. O-Town, reality show boy band. According to this mistaken impression, that would make the Vengaboys the Eurodance-style boy band. In reality, the band's official bio states that the singers in the group were originally dancers for a previous stage act that DJs Dansky and Del Mundo had collaborated on, which checks out. It's certainly not a big shock to learn that these are dancers turned singers. Not that you ever really hear all of their voices on the songs anyway. Some of their songs are vocally spare to the point where they might as well be instrumentals. The vocal performances on their songs aren't bad, but they're as anonymous as anything you'll hear in dance pop. I think I've talked about this before, but dance music isn't exactly the most personality-driven genre in the world anyway, so you might as well just give your stage dancers some microphones and let them come in on the hooks.
And up and down, up
Musically, they're clearly aiming for a distinct type of summer fun beach party vibe. I know it's a cliche to say this about dance pop acts, but it's especially true in this case. All of their songs sound the same. They never really deviated from the formula of their first single. It's a very narrow range they're working in. Sometimes it's a little more reggae influence, sometimes there are hints of traditional Latin or tropical island music in there, but it is all the same mood and sound and type and production style. Even the tempos tend to be pretty uniform. Well, so what? What exactly do you want out of dance music anyway? If you answered anything other than something to dance to, you're probably overthinking it. What's that? Uh-oh. Look out. The Venga bus is coming, and everybody's running. Party, party, party. This group talks about partying so much that they may very well have been the secret inspiration for Andrew WK. What's with the synth tone they're using? Is this supposed to sound like mariachi horns or something? If there's one distinguishing feature this group has that separates them from the rest of the dance pop pack, is that bright, blaring synth sound. The hook in this isn't especially strong, but it manages to stay with you anyway thanks to their insidious strategy of incessantly power drilling it into your head. There's just no escape from that. You'll also note their tendency to play the melody on the synths immediately after you just heard them singing the hook. Just in case you missed it the first time, here it is again, without words, double melody. Guilty pleasure or not, I'll admit I am rather fond of this song. It's as slap-happy and ridiculous as all their other stuff, but at least it appears to be built around something resembling an actual chorus. It might even be about something, possibly something slightly risque. For the record, this was the song that made me think there was some kind of little kiddie boy band. I do think it's smart that they sampled ABBA for the first verse of this song and then didn't return to it after that. That's one of those decisions where they make it subtle enough that you go back and kind of say, wait, is that from that song?
I wasn't jealous before we met. Now every woman I see is a potential threat.
Otherwise, reasonable people have spent way too much time trying to parse the hidden meaning behind double boom. Predictably, nearly every prevailing theory is dirty in some way. People have guessed it refers to doing it twice, three ways, DPs, multiples, etc. You want to know what I think it means? I think it means Venga Boy's first language wasn't English, and they didn't care whether their lyrics made sense. Next.
We're going to Ibiza.
Whoever comes up with the song titles for this group is way too excitable with the explanation points. So this is one of the Reggae Island Caribbean style tunes based on a 1975 song Barbados by Typically Tropical. And this version is a bit reminiscent of this kind of stuff Ace of Base used to do in my opinion. The sound is a bit different and there's more structure to it, probably because it's based on someone else's song, but otherwise it's the exact same mood and vibe and beach party feel as every other song by them. So it's not as if it's a radical departure for them or anything. They could probably make any genre feel homogeneous, such as the power of their Venga busing. Which raises the inevitable question, who is this music for? Real electronic fans weren't going anywhere near this, and they were too cutesy even for the late 90s teen pop crowd. That leaves basically no one but the very youngest and least discriminating demographic. You are far more likely to hear a Venga Boys song in promos for Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon at the Disney Channel than at an actual club or party.
There's a boy in my mind and he knows I'm thinking of him.
Billy Joel? Seriously? Okay, I feel like I've heard this song. There's really no reason to dwell too long in the Venga Boys' 90s output. Not to be overly reductive, but again, all their crap sounds the same. I'm not sure how many ways there are to say that. My recommendation, just find the one song you like by them and play it over and over. All the rest of their stuff will just sound like inferior versions of that one song you like. I don't mean to disparage them or imply that they're worthless or anything. There is a valid place in the world for this kind of music, and it's not hurting anyone. If you just need one continuous pounding beat and an occasional hook, There's worse stuff than this out there. The worst thing I can even think of to say about it is it wears out its welcome a little too fast. And apparently that's what they did in real life too, because after releasing the Party album in 1999 and the remix album and the Platinum album in 2000, they went on hiatus in 2001. Almost as if they were aware that they were something of a one-trick pony already. Now that's some real here today, gone tomorrow. Denise was pregnant at the time with her first child, so she took time off to become a mother. They came back in 2006 with a new member named Donnie Latuparissa, replacing Roy Denberger as the cowboy, and they've toured on and off with various lineups and configurations ever since, releasing new singles and remixes along the way. Currently, they tour mostly Europe with pretty much their entire original lineup, along with Donnie. There are a ton of remixes for basically every song they ever did, so if you're a fan of this kind of stuff, you can check that out. Oh, and since it's the holidays, I might as well mention they released a Christmas album called Xmas Party Album in 2014, which, to be clear, is an album of Christmas-themed remixes of old Venga Boy songs along with one new track. So there you have it. Of all the groups I've covered in this series, probably the last one I'd have expected to still be going strong was the freaking Venga Boys, but life is funny that way. Till next time, keep on partying, keep that Venga bus rolling, and I'll see you sometime in the future.